Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls looks like the most promising fighting game on the horizon, and honestly one of the most exciting fighters to ever exist. For years, Marvel fans and fighting game veterans alike have been waiting for something that could capture that same raw chaos of the classics, while pushing the genre into bold new territory. From everything we've seen, Tokon Fighting Souls isn't just echoing that legacy, it's elevating it with a cast that already feels monumental, visuals that demand attention, and gameplay that looks like it could define an era. This doesn't feel like just another fighting game reveal, it feels like the arrival of a true heavyweight. And the more we've seen since its first reveal, the bigger this project has started to feel. Updates, showcases, and reveals have all piled up, each one pointing to a game that seems to be growing in ways nobody quite expected. The buzz hasn't slowed for a second, and at this point, Tokon Fighting Souls is a fighting game that everyone is talking about. So today, let's break down everything we've learned so far, and why Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls just keeps getting bigger. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Big Daddy Top Hat here. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is only growing stronger and stronger. Fighting games may be thriving right now, but let's be honest, keeping up with all the best titles can burn a hole straight through your wallet. Luckily for you, through my links below, you can pick up the expansive Marvel vs. Capcom Arcade Collection for a jaw-dropping 57% off and up to a staggering 84% off for Capcom Fighting Collections. And it doesn't stop there. If Street Fighter 6 is your current obsession, you can slash the price of the Year 1, 2 Fighters Edition and even grab 25% off of the brand new Season 3 Ultimate and Character Passes, giving you access to Sagat and all of the upcoming fighters for a fraction of the usual asking price. But why stop at fighting games? The savings don't end there. We're talking up to 90% off thousands of other titles, covering everything from classics to the latest hits. So do yourself a favour, hit those links, load up on bargains and stretch your gaming library further than ever before. Deals like this don't hang around forever, so grab them while you can and thank me later. It's been several months since Marvel officially lifted the lid on Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, their brand new 4v4 tag team fighter, and the excitement has not dimmed one bit. Back when it was first announced, jaws hit the floor, and now with time to reflect and a steady drip of new information since that reveal, it's clear this wasn't just a flashy announcement, but the start of something truly monumental. Few could have predicted even a couple of years ago that we'd be standing here talking about a Marvel fighting game with this kind of pedigree. For years, Marvel was content to churn out safe, uninspired tie-ins, but the tide is turning. Marvel Rivals has been carving out a surprisingly positive reputation as one of the most well-received multiplayer launches in recent memory. And the upcoming Marvel Cosmic Invasion Brawler continues to whip fans into a frenzy. As of now, Tokon Fighting Souls feels like the icing on this improbable cake, a signal that Marvel Games is finally taking its legacy seriously. What makes this all the more remarkable is how improbable it once all seemed. After the chaotic disappointment that was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, many assumed the dream was dead. Fast forward to today though, and everything has changed. Marvel Games is clearly on a hot streak, and Arc System Works, one of the most respected fighting game developers on the planet, is in the driver's seat. A brand new Marvel tag team fighting game, what once seemed impossible, is becoming a reality. A historic comeback moment for an entire franchise, one that fans thought they'd never see again, and the closer we look at the story surrounding this one, the more promising it begins to look. While Marvel vs. Capcom lay dormant in the aftermath of Infinite's lukewarm reception, fans found solace in what felt like its spiritual successor, Dragon Ball FighterZ, developed by Arc System Works, the very same studio now helming Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. FighterZ was everything long-starved Marvel fans had been craving. Its blistering fast 3v3 combat, jaw-dropping cel-shaded visuals, and explosive combo-heavy gameplay captured the chaotic energy of Marvel vs. Capcom at its peak. For years, it scratched the itch Capcom had abandoned, and slowly but surely, Arc Sys became seen as the natural heirs to the throne. Which is why, when the news broke earlier this year that Fighting Souls was not only real, but being built by Arc Sys themselves, it didn't feel just exciting, it felt as though the universe had finally course-corrected after years in the wilderness. Now, months later, the hype hasn't cooled one bit. If anything, it's intensified, with fans speculating endlessly on the roster, the mechanics, and the possibilities of what a 4v4 tag team fighter under Arc Sys' watchful eye can deliver. We already know the game is slated for release in 2026 on PlayStation 5, Steam, and the Epic Games Store, and that the roster is set to feature a dream lineup of iconic Marvel heroes and villains: Iron Man, Captain America, Storm, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, and more. It's an anime-inspired Arxis-styled reimagining of Marvel's fighting legacy, and one that promises to combine the studio's trademark flair with Marvel's over-the-top spectacle in what could very well be the next milestone in fighting game history. And at the centre of this story is one key figure, Takeshi Yamanaka, veteran producer at Arxis and the man who helped revitalise Guilty Gear with Strife. His fingerprints are all over modern fighting games, from streamlining mechanics for wider appeal to championing rollback netcode to setting new standards in visual fidelity. When asked about how this unlikely Marvel collaboration began, Yamanaka painted the picture of a late evening in Yokohama, winding down from another long day of fine-tuning frames and balancing fighters. Then came a casual invitation to drinks from a PlayStation colleague, an invitation that would change the course of fighting game history forever. Over glasses of sake, the conversation took a sharp turn. His colleague leaned in and asked a question that would stop Yamanaka dead in his tracks. How would you feel about Arc making a Marvel fighting game? Yamanaka recalled being stunned into silence. Marvel? The global entertainment titan? It sounded too grand to be real. When I heard that, I was truly stunned, he later admitted. Marvel is a global IP, and the offer was an incredible honour. But at the same time, I thought, can our company really handle this? Months on, we know the answer. They can, they are, and if early signs are anything to go by, they will. What began as a casual conversation in a bar has blossomed into one of the most promising fighting games in years. A collaboration that fans once considered impossible, now alive and very, very real. So let's dig in deeper to everything we know about how this game came into fruition. Arc System Works has long been adored within fighting game circles, but this collaboration is something else entirely. Marvel isn't just another license to toy around with, it is the license, a cultural juggernaut stitched into the very fabric of global pop culture. And yet, as incredible as it sounds, the spark that ignited Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls wasn't lit in some sterile boardroom lined with executives and pie charts. No, it began as nothing more than a casual conversation over those drinks in Japan. From that moment, a bridge was built, one that now promises to unite the refined artistry of Japanese fighting game design with the superhero mythology of the West. Arc System Works' technical mastery colliding headlong with Marvel's larger-than-life characters under the funding and stewardship of PlayStation Studios. It is a marriage of East and West that feels almost fated, and yet not long ago it seemed an utterly fanciful dream. For Reed Baird, senior producer of X-Dev within PlayStation Studios, the inspiration behind pursuing this venture came from raw and relatable fandom. A lack of a major fighting game IP highlighted not just a gap in PlayStation's illustrious catalogue, but a chance to etch their name into fighting game history. Marvel Games themselves were instantly intrigued. Michael Francisco, senior product development manager, recalls how the proposal was delivered. PlayStation approached them with their vision to bring Marvel back to the forefront of tag team fighting. And that got them really excited. He states we'd already worked with them on massive successes like the Spider-Man games with Insomniac, so there was trust there. But of course, vision alone wasn't enough. It wasn't simply about PlayStation wanting a Marvel fighter, it was about ensuring it was placed in the right hands. As Baird himself admitted, when it came time to float the idea to Marvel, the name on their lips was always Arc System Works. Marvel, it seems, didn't need much convincing. From there, the wheels were set in motion. This was a partnership forged from fandom, fueled by passion and reinforced by studios on both sides of the Pacific. The result is Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, not a product born from mandates, but from a shared love of superhero sprites and the glorious poetry of perfectly timed super moves. But of course, raw enthusiasm alone cannot carry a project of this magnitude. The journey so far has not been without its bumps. When Arc first submitted early design drafts to Marvel, Yamanaka admitted he feared the worst. I got the impression that Michael-san's reaction wasn't particularly positive, he recalled. I kept wondering what was wrong, but this wasn't rejection, it was opportunity. Francisco urged them not to simply replicate Marvel's past, but to push forward with their own unique vision. Show us the Marvel that you want to create, he encouraged. And from that point on, the project began to transform into something truly extraordinary. That moment would prove to be the turning point. As Michael later recalled, the first time he laid eyes on Arc System Works' take on Iron Man, he knew instantly that something extraordinary was happening. This wasn't just a Marvel character faithfully rendered, it was Iron Man reborn with a distinct flair, each frame dripping with Arc's unmistakable artistry. For Takeshi Yamanaka, that suit of red and gold became the rallying point of the project. If you take a look at how Iron Man designed in this game, he explained, you'll see the distinctive Japanese influence, that Arc System Works' design sensibility. Marvel's team really loved it. It was like, yeah, this is it. It was the moment where both sides realised they had struck the perfect balance, and from that point the vision for Fighting Souls truly crystallised. Francisco elaborated further, describing Iron Man's presence as the perfect synthesis of East and West. Iron Man is supposed to be the sleek fighter jet, think luxury car, mixed with a brick house. The fact that they'd added anime mech elements to him felt completely at home. It didn't just work, it belonged. From the very beginning, the mantra guiding the project has been crystal clear. From Japan to the world. For Reed Baird of PlayStation Studios, this wasn't just a localization strategy, it was a deep design philosophy. Stating we really wanted to take not just the IP but the gameplay mechanics and say, what can we bring from Japan, from these amazing creators, and introduce them to a global platform. And introduce them they have. Arc System Works has unveiled something not one had anticipated: 4-on-4 team battles. Yamanaka admits it is the game's boldest element of all. There are lots of things that make this title special, but what really deserves to be highlighted is probably the 4-on-4 format. It's the most ambitious and innovative feature. For Bear, the decision wasn't about inflating scale for the sake of it, it was about surprise. When Arc looks at these Marvel characters, it's not just visual design. It's gameplay mechanics, it's that pop. What's going to feel fresh? You've seen 2v2, you've seen 3v3, but we just had to go 4v4, and in doing so we found all these unique, exciting ways to shake up the formula. I think players are going to be thrilled. Yet, even as excitement builds, one question lingers in the air. Will players really need to master 4 characters to stand a chance? Let's explore what the people behind the game had to say on the matter. Getting good playing as 4 characters is a fair concern, and one that Takeshi Yamanaka anticipated immediately. When the game was first revealed to the public, he stated, "You might be thinking, wait, do I have to practice 4 characters just to win?" "Don't worry," he reassured. Michael Francisco expanded on that point, emphasizing the flexibility built into the system. Learning 4 characters is extremely daunting, but Arc has found a way to adapt the system to your playstyle. You can duke it out just using the leader, rely more on assists, or swap characters on the fly to change up the matchup. There's flexibility. In other words, Fighting Souls won't demand you become a master of all trades. It will allow you to approach the chaos in the way that feels most natural to you. Kazuma Kitsuka of PlayStation's ex-dev division summed it up perfectly when he said it's not just a business arrangement, it's about putting our hearts into making a great game, one that will succeed and one the fans will love. And that is exactly why Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls should have every one of us buzzing with excitement. This is 3 powerhouse companies pouring everything they have into building something extraordinary. The game is still in development, but already it's sending shockwaves through the industry. With Arc System Works bringing their fighting game mastery, Marvel supplying its legendary universe of heroes and villains, and PlayStation Studios backing it with the kind of polish and ambition they can deliver. The pedigree here is undeniable. Since the jaw-dropping first announcement, the excitement around Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls hasn't slowed for a moment. In fact, it's only grown. Bit by bit, more tantalizing details have trickled out, from new character confirmations to gameplay insights and behind-the-scenes stories that peel back the curtain on how this unprecedented collaboration came to life. Each reveal, no matter how small, has added fuel to the fire, painting a clearer picture of a fighter that could genuinely redefine Marvel's place in the genre. Following the reveal, the next big moment came at EVO 2025, where attendees were treated to a hands-on demo. 6 of the launch roster characters were playable: Captain America, Iron Man, Miss Marvel, Star-Lord, Storm, and Doctor Doom, giving fighting game fans their first taste of Arc Sys's Marvel vision. Early impressions have praised the responsive controls, crisp visuals, and fluid team mechanics, while Marvel themselves leaned into the spectacle with exclusive promo pins for those who got to play. To add to the excitement, a live-streamed developer panel later in August gave us a deeper dive into the systems under the hood, showing how the game's mechanics encourage both accessible play for newcomers and layered mastery for veterans. The panel dug into the core mechanics that set Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls apart. They explained the 4-on-4 structure in detail, stressing that you don't start with all 4 characters at once. You have to unlock them mid-match by pulling off throws, triggering stage transitions, or simply enduring the fight long enough. This design, they argued, isn't just about spectacle, it forces players to adapt on the fly, think about strategy differently, and to build momentum in a way that feels like a proper Marvel comic arc, where the cavalry always arrive just when the battle looks dire. They also touched on accessibility versus depth, one of the panel's big themes. Like Dragon Ball FighterZ, the game includes auto combos, one-button specials, and generous mobility options to let casual players feel like superheroes without hours of lab work. But layered on top of that, the team emphasised the deeper mechanics, character order affecting assists, expanded gauges once you unlock your full roster, and high damage manual inputs for veterans who want to push the system to its limits. In short, the message was you can button mash and still look cool, but mastery will be rewarded in spades. On the visual side, the panel showed how the game's colour philosophy works in practice. Stages begin in muted tones, then burst into life as the fight starts, with key moves literally draining the screen for dramatic effect. They position this as part of ArcSys's goal to make every battle feel like a playable Marvel splash page, with cinematic punch but no loss of gameplay clarity. They also reassured fans about long-term support, reiterating that the project is being treated as a decade-long platform, not just a one-and-done fighter. They promised ongoing updates, new characters, and competitive balance patches backed by PlayStation's infrastructure and Marvel's IP weight. So if the EVO demo was the flashy first date, the August panel was the moment they pulled back the curtain and said, here's why you should stick around for the long haul. But this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the latest news surrounding this project. Following the EVO 2025 showcase, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls gave us our next major milestone, the announcement of its first closed beta, scheduled for September the 5th of the 7th, 2025, exclusive on PlayStation 5. This won't be just some bare-bones technical test either. The beta promises a full feature set, the same 6 playable characters from EVO, rollback netcode for smooth online play, spectator mode, tutorials, and both online and offline match options. It showed that ArcSys and PlayStation aren't just rolling out a demo, they are stress testing a competitive infrastructure built for long-term use. But what really got fighting game fans buzzing was the mechanical deep dive that followed EVO as well. Marvel Tokon ditches the traditional life bar per character system in favour of a shared health bar, meaning every punch, parry and plasma blast chips away at your team's collective vitality. Complementing this is the Assemble gauge, a new meter that grows as you unlock more teammates mid-match, incentivising aggressive and stylish play. And those unlocks, they're not automatic. Marvel Tokon introduces a dynamic unlock system where additional characters are brought into play only after meeting certain mid-match conditions. Smashing through a wall, executing a stage transition, or even losing a round, the fight begins in a 2v2 format, gradually escalating into full 4v4 chaos as the match progresses. This phase structure forces players to adapt on the fly, balancing short-term survival against the long-term advantage of unlocking their full roster. The resource economy ties it all together. A tiered skill gauge system lets you spend meter on EX moves, supers or devastating ultimate finishers, demanding both creativity and restraint. Combined with ArcSys's trademark visual flair, this aims to create matches that aren't just about who wins, but how they win, layering spectacle on top of strategy. In short, the beta won't just confirm Marvel Tokon is playable, it will confirm that ArcSys, PlayStation and Marvel are building a game designed to last a generation. When you step back and take in the full picture, the scale of what's happening with Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is staggering. What began as a casual conversation over drinks in Yokohama has snowballed into a cross-continental project uniting Arc System Works, Marvel and PlayStation in a way that once seemed impossible. From EVO's first 6 playable heroes to the closed beta showcasing rollback netcode, tutorials and layered systems that welcome both newcomers and veterans, every new reveal has only strengthened the sense that this isn't business as usual. Add to that a 10-year roadmap of support, ambitious mechanics like assemble gauges and mid-match unlocks, and an art style already dazzling audiences, and it becomes impossible to see this as just another fighting game. This is something more, a landmark collaboration, a bold new chapter for the genre, and a once-in-a-generation chance to witness history in the making. If you love tag team fighting games, do not forget that right now you can snag the massive Marvel vs. Capcom arcade collection for an insane 57% off. And if that wasn't enough, the Capcom Fighting Collection is also slashed by up to 84%. Street Fighter 6 fans aren't left out either. Both the Year 1 and Year 2 Fighters Edition are heavily discounted. Plus, you can knock 25% off of the brand new Season 3 Ultimate and Character Passes, meaning Sagat and every new fighter on the horizon can be yours for a fraction of the usual price. And the best part, those deals don't stop with fighting games. We're talking up to 90% off across thousands of titles, from timeless classics to the hottest new releases. So don't just sit there, grab some bargains while you can. Happy shopping and cheerio!